I'm JD. I'm back for part 2 and looking at the watch parts here. I think I just take the Rodico here and just move it around and get rid of anything that looks like it's shouldn't be there. And in general, it did a great job cleaning this movement. And I need to do some oiling, and I want to do the oiling on this side here. So I just want to take a little bit of oil here and put it right where it needs to be. I need to zoom in here. So in this case, I've got the mainspring barrel that goes right in here. So I want to put a little tiny bit of oil right there so that slides around nicely. I have 0 issues. And while I have this open on this side, I also want to put a little bit of oil right here. Right there. And I want to put another little bit of oil right here as the stem comes in here and rides right around the corner here. Oiling is so important with watches that you don't want to screw up the oiling, and I got to put a different type of oil coming up in 2 seconds. You don't want to screw up the oiling of the watches. This is the yellow oil. So the other oil was like D5. So this oil is a lot thicker. This is just going to help this watch when the stem turns here. So it's a little bit easier on stuff. Yeah, I'm looking at this and I think I need to dip the Rodico in here just a little bit too, because I want to make sure that this plate is absolutely perfect when I put it back together again. So I'm looking down here, not sure whether it's me or the watch. And just tapping out any extra stuff that might be left over from the cleaning. And there's a little tiny bit, not a lot, but enough that I can see that would bother me. So it doesn't take much to bug me, by the way. If you've known me for a while, when I do these videos, I'm pretty anal retentive, I'm telling you. Pretty anal retentive. I want to make sure the watch, when it's returned, it's perfect. So there. So I still have to peg out these holes here and get a big long piece of pegwood and sharpen it up. And I'll show you how that's done in 2 seconds. But first, I'm going to get the pegwood. So here I've got a big bundle of pegwood. I only need 1 piece of pegwood. And this is way too long, so I want to break that in 2. Just break it right here, and I'll put the other pegwood back into the bundle. I can't remember where I got this bundle of pegwood, but man, that's a lot of pegwood. It's more pegwood than peg even needs. Oh, bad joke. So I want to take this and sharpen up the pegwood. Okay, I've got a little bit of a blank check here. Look at that. That is a Bulova Marine Star watch. And I bought this shark mesh strap for it, and I matched it perfectly. And it's very blingy, but it's a very nice Bulova Marine Star. These are very hard to get a hold of, especially the ones with the red hand, the red subdial hand. So very, very nice, high quality watch. It's got an ETA movement in it. On the strap's really good. I got that from China. But I do have my Apple titanium watch, and as I said earlier to you folks, the 50th anniversary Sea King, where is it? Sea King 1963 to 2013. So let me sharpen up the pegwood here. And so what I do here is I just want to sharpen it to a point so I can use the pegwood to peg out the jewel holes on the pocket watch, and that gets anything out that's sticking in there, any dirt or anything that's in that pocket watch. Now, there shouldn't be any because I use a watch cleaning machine now. Before I used to use alcohol, or not alcohol, I used to use, there we go, that's nice and sharp. I used to use lighter fluid to clean my watches, and I went high end, and now I use, you can move this out of the way here. I made a mess on my mat. Now I use L&R cleaning fluid, and I've got a clean and 2 rinses and a heater. So I do a clean and 2 rinses, and then I could do a heater. So it does a pretty respectable job. I'm just moving these out of the way. I'm going to clean this up after. So it leaves a mess. And so what you do when you're pegging out the holes is you start with the smaller holes. Let me maneuver my camera. Maneuver and manure are really close. So I take this here, and I want to start with the smaller holes because it's going to shape my pegwood. So if I want to do this, I'm going to take this one out later, so I'm not going to bother with that one. So that's going to be removed anyway. And so this one here needs to be pegged out. So you just put it in the hole and rotate it carefully. And then pull it straight out. If you don't pull it straight out, it could snap, and then you end up with pegwood in the jewel hole, which is not good. So you just keep going from small to big. Actually, you know what? I used to go from big to small, but small to big is better. So, because it sort of shapes, every time you shove it in there, it's going to shape the pegwood a bit more, right? So if I start from big to small, I think it'll work as well. But you're just putting it in the hole and then rotating it. And I really don't need to do this here because I've already cleaned that out. So that's all the jewels on this side. And so those are pegwooded nicely. And then I want to get this upper plate here, and I want to pegwood this too. So, and the thing, you can pegwood from the bottom because the actual staff will come in contact with this jewel with the right end shake, right? So it's the actual staff of the wheel is coming in contact with the jewel hole, or the jewel. So the pivot goes through, and there's a little bit of side shake, and then the staff goes through. And this here, I can't even peg that out. So that's good there. And I think I have 2 more to peg out. Peg. So you peg this one out too. This gives you an opportunity to have a look at the jewel holes again to make sure you're good. But this is not a really old watch, so the jewels are in great condition, which is nice. I don't have to replace the jewels, which is a good thing, because these things are burnished in, which means that they are in there for good. Yeah, I'm looking at them and it seems to be pretty good condition. Now I noticed there's a little bit of dirt on the outer rim of this very small jewel here. So what I do there is I take the pegwood and I just go in circles around that the jewel surface itself, so it's nice and clean. And then I put an angle on it so I can see the reflection, and then with that angle you can actually see if there's anything left in the jewel. So there's nothing, and this is in good condition. So that's good. And these ones here, I believe, are perfect too. But let me have another look. Well, here's one here. So it's not a guarantee that your cleaning machine is going to get everything out. So if I do this and go around, I'm looking at this really closely. And I just scrape it around like that. Care and feeding. So I scrape it around and then just tap it with Rodico. And that's in mint condition, folks. Mint condition. If it were a mint, that's the condition it would be in. So, and this one here needs some cleaning too, I think. I already pegged the hole out, so that should be fine. But once I've done this, there's absolutely nothing left. I just jab that pegwood into the Rodico, and then just do that. And I think maybe, there, that's good there. No problem there. So this plate is perfect. I love perfection. Perfection is my middle name. And I'm going to do the same with these ones here. This is in case there's a little film of something on these, right, that needs to be addressed, moved. And you don't want anything to be on the surface of the jewel hole, or the jewel, flat part of the jewel, because that's the part where the staff, the shaft of the actual the wheel shaft actually ends up. I have to peg this one out again, I think. The wheel shaft ends up touching the surface of that jewel. So I'm just going around the circle to get rid of anything that's there at all. And and then I'll take my Rodico and give it a go. There we go, and stick that in the Rodico, and now I'm going to go jewel by jewel and just rub that. Even though they were pegged out, folks, pegged out already. To make sure there's nothing, no residual stuff left over here. Yeah, pretty anal retentive, I'd say. I saw something right there I didn't like. There we go. Those are shiny as hell now. And you can see, let me see if I can show you the surface of that center one and how shiny that is. There you go. There, that's how shiny it is, and that's what you want. You don't want anything on there. So you want it to be shiny. So that's it. So that's that part. All right, now this is a tricky part. So you want to make sure that the balance staff is going to. The balance staff goes through the jewel, the lower balance jewel, and then it just set these aside, and then I think I'll use a bigger screwdriver here, and it touches the cap jewel, and you have to make sure your screwdrivers are flat on the bottom. So I do that occasionally. I'll take my screwdrivers and I'll work them so they're perfect. Now, if I'm lucky here, lucky, I'm able to put my screwdrivers in here and wedge the cap jewel up. That's if I'm lucky. If I'm unlucky, I just end up having to push this from the other side with either Rodico or a stake to kind of push the jewel setting up. So I think I'm being unlucky today. These things are just moving all over the place. There's also a needle hole right there, and if you can find the world's smallest needle, which I have right here, you can sometimes get that needle. Let's jab that with Rodico again. Sometimes get that needle in the hole like that, and then lift the jewel up. And then sometimes you can't. I think this is you can't today. Now, one thing I like to do, right, and it's not an aesthetic thing, is I like to score this just a bit, and that just ensures when I put this thing back that it's aligned properly. So that's the world's smallest scoring on that to align it properly. And then I should be able to push the jewel out. Now, so you got to watch what you're doing here, because that jewel should be over the top like this, right? Because you're flat here, and you can sometimes just push it straight out with a piece of pegwood. So I'm just making sure I'm clearing everything here. And you can see how that's almost out there. So I just push down on it like that, and it's almost out. You just want to be pretty consistent in the pressure applied. There, the jewel's gone. See that? Jewel is out, so it's out. So now I can pick this up, get it out of the way, and I've got the jewel in setting right here. And I want to clean that off. So I sometimes clean it by hand. Sometimes I throw it into Rodico, or not Rodico, into lighter fluid to clean it. This looks like it's lighter fluid worthy. So the jewel itself I can do with lighter fluid, but the cap jewel I can clean with my pegwood. And again, you want to get the scum off the cap jewel. So I just go in small circles like that and get the scum off, and then I clean the pegwood off with my Rodico. And again, I'm checking I'm just checking to make sure, by looking at the reflection of the light off the jewel, that everything is gone. And the last thing I do is just scrape this with Rodico, and that gets rid of any of the crumbs, the leftover crumbs. So this is pretty detailed work. Yeah, there we go. That's a beautiful job. If I can get a shine on this, you'll see it. So There it is there. So there's the shine. There's no dirt on that left at all. So that's perfect. So I take this and put it out of the way. I can put this on the movement just so it stays out of the way. Now this one here, I want to, let me just push that down. It's getting in the way. This one here, I may have to throw into, this side's perfect, but I might have to throw that into some lighter fluid. So in this case, right, to clean out with lighter fluid, I've got a very small cap I'll use to put that in so I don't use too much lighter fluid. So here I've got Zippo lighter fluid, premium lighter fluid, premium folks. So made in the USA. So there we go, lighter fluid, extremely dangerous, very flammable, poisonous. Read carefully, precaution, back, child, don't swallow. Open it up, pour it in, and then run. So first aid, don't swallow it, my God. So it's, well, we're using a well-ventilated area. I'm pouring such a small amount of lighter fluid here that I'm not really worried about it. But I'll pour it while you're watching, and it evaporates super fast, and it doesn't smell after it evaporates. So even if you screw up, it's still not that bad. So I'm using this little cap here, and I'll go like this and put the world's smallest bit of lighter fluid in there. And then close the lid on there like that. Put it aside so it doesn't blow up on me. And so you can see in here, I've got just a little tiny bit of lighter fluid in there. And I just need to take this jewel setting here and throw that in. Try not to lose it, right? And I'll let this sit for a while so it gets all friendly with the lighter fluid. So this is going to sit for a while in the lighter fluid like that. And then we're going to just use a brush. I've got a very nice little brand new paintbrush right here, and I'll just brush that lightly while I'm holding it with my tweezers and get any dirt off that. But I'll let that sit for a little while. Alright, so now you're looking at the department of brushing. So I could move the camera a little closer. Alright, this is about as close as I can get. This is the department of brushing. So what I do is I grab the jewel like that, and I just dive in with the brush and dab it. And that's lighter fluid I'm dabbing it on. So I'm just using the lighter fluid to get rid of some of the crap on this jewel. And I find that often the jewel just sticks to the brush like it just did there. So there's the other side. So once I'm finished this, I just need to use watch paper now. So I'm holding this ever so lightly. The good news about this is that it doesn't fling anywhere. And I had a flinging part there a week ago, and it really pissed me off. I should have used Rodico to hold it, and for some reason I didn't. And it flung, which was very upsetting. I still haven't found that part, by the way. So luckily I had a backup part. So there we go. That should do the trick. And just do a little bit of tap here for the lighter fluid. And this brush here will dry up pretty fast. So just throw that in with all my other crap. And then I'm going to take watchmaker's paper, which looks like this. I've got it doubled over. And just take this jewel and sit it on the watchmaker's paper very carefully, like so. And that'll absorb all of the lighter fluid. And I just put this aside, and this evaporates so quickly. I could pour this on my desk, and it'll evaporate in like 5 seconds. So maybe I should do that as a test. I'll show you how that works. All right, I'm hoping for the best here, but I'm going to try this out. There's the lighter fluid there, so I'm just going to pour this on my desk like this. There it is there, and then I'm going to paint it around with the paintbrush, and you're going to see how quickly this evaporates. Just paint that around so my desk is wet with lighter fluid. So dangerous. So luckily I'm not smoking right now. Now if I take a small blower, so you can see the wet area there, right? And that is wet with lighter fluid. Now I'm looking at it, and it's already starting to dry up. And if I take a small blower and just blow on it, let me get my blower out. And this is a watchmaker's blower, and if I just blow on that like this, it's drying up like super fast right now. And you cannot, once this dries up, you can't smell it. There's no residual smell with the lighter fluid. And this is officially, let me get that again here. Is that dry? I think it's officially dry. Yeah. It's dry, baby. Now my desk is nice and clean now. So while I was farting around with the lighter fluid, this dried up nicely too. So now I've got a very clean jewel. And I'm going to Rodico this jewel like I did the other one. So I'm going to switch hands because I'm better with Rodico with the other hand. And I'm just going to make a point with the Rodico. And just very carefully dab this jewel in the Rodico. And there we go. And this jewel will go back into the hole. And should be in perfect condition. All right, now I've got the jewel sitting there, and I've got to turn that around and put it back into the hole. So it goes in, I believe, straight down like that. Yeah. Goes in just like this. I'm trying to get close enough to not screw this up here. And that pushes straight down. Now I should be able to use my pegwood to help it down, but I can also use a round stake. So the important part of this, and just roll the pegwood like that, is that when you turn this over, it's in perfect shape, which is you're looking at it and you're making sure it's sitting in there. And there's a small rim on the edge, on the inside of the plate, and it's got to be resting on that rim straight up and down. If it's not resting on the rim, you got other problems. So this one is resting on the rim, which is perfect. And now I've got to take my cap jewel, which was here somewhere, and find it. Thank God I found it. It was actually right underneath the movement. So again, put things away. So if you can see over here, I made a small circle on the mat, and very small parts I often put into the circle so I know where it is. So now I'm looking for the witness mark on this cap jewel, and I'm going to use that witness mark to help me put that back in place. So I'm just going to hold this up a little bit so I can show you. Hopefully it's focusing nicely. And I'm just going to grab this, and I can see the witness mark is right there. I'm just going to push this towards the hole. And there it is. And I want to line up that witness mark, which means the screws are also lined up. Probably easier to do with a screwdriver than with tweezers. So you want to just very carefully line that up. Let me just see if I can do this without... I'm getting really close to the camera here. There we go. So that was a nice little nudge, and it's pretty much lined up right now. There, that's perfect. Now let me just put this down, because I'm going to use the pegwood once again to push that setting down, the cap jewel down in place, like that. Moved a little bit, but I think we're still good. Let me look and see if that's good. Yeah, it is. And once again, I'm pushing this down like that. And you could just do this on a flat surface, but I've got this really nice little mat I have. And if you look at the witness mark now, if I can get up really close, you can see the witness mark on the top of that setting. Let me just go back a bit. There's the witness mark in the plate, and they're lined up perfectly on the top of that setting. So that's absolutely impeccable, perfect, done like dinner. And now I just have to put the screws back, and I have them left and right in order. So, and again, I'm going to just put them in like that, and then grab my screwdriver and go straight up and down. And I gotta hold my breath just a little bit so I can grab it and get it in there. That's one screw is in, and then the other one is in. Like that. I just want to line this screw up again properly. And like that. There we go. And that is done and dusted. I'll call that part 2 because it took a while. And we'll go for part 3 in a second.